go. But all this is coming up. It's blowing my mind. And right now I think we should play a little bit more music. I should say as well that my brother, if you're listening, I hope we haven't said too much. He complained to me this week that we say a lot in like the first links of the show. I think he meant me particularly.
Well, that's not a very supportive thing to say.
No, I wanted to punch him in the face when he told me.
Has he said anything nice about the show?
He's a bit not very forthcoming with his compliments.
He's jealous.
He might be jealous, but he said he found it really annoying.
You know, if you say too much, you know what he says too much?
What? Yeah, that's right. Here's Supergrass with Kiss of Life. This is XFM 104.9. That's a kind of funky, summery slice of pop.
I like it.
Supergrass.
I tell you what, it sounds a bit like is an In Excess single from the mid to late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah, In Excess's good period. I hasten to add.
Oh, absolutely. I really like that single.
Yeah,
I love Supergrass. They performed it on Top of the Pops last night.
Did they?
Performed it very well, confidently. Yeah.
Oh, I went to a Supergrass gig last Saturday night.
Did you?
And it was brilliant.
I thought you said it was some sort of a club night.
No, I went to the club after the gig because Gaz and one of the other ones.
Gaz, is it?
Were DJing at this club, the Barfly in Camden.
Do you know Gaz?
No, don't know him.
Will you call him by his full name then?
Sorry,
Gareth.
Mr. Coombs. Mr. Coombs. And it was great. The gig was extraordinary. I turned up and I thought I was going to leave in about the first 10 minutes because it was so hot and packed. It was at the Forum in Kentish Town, and we were stood right up at the back at the top. And everyone was really into it. The place was heaving, and it was really, really so smoky. I've never been anywhere so smoky. I kind of, even though I do have the occasional ciggy, I want them to ban smoking in places like that. I think it would be a good thing. Anyway, that's by the by. I stuck with it, and after I'd had a few cans of lager, I suddenly got into it, and Supergrass were brilliant, and they kept up the pace really well. You know when sometimes bands do an acoustic set halfway through?
Yeah.
And you think, oh no, it's the acoustic set. But they did it sat on a sofa.
Brilliant.
Yeah, they had a sofa that came out, and they all sat there, all three of them on this sofa, big sofa. It was really good.
Did that make a genuine difference? It was like jamming with someone in your front room or something?
It made a genuine difference, yeah. It just seemed like it fitted with what you wanted from Supergrass, and it seemed like from the heart somehow. And they did justice to all their tracks, and you forget how many amazing songs they've done. And they were just fantastic. And the audience, I've never seen an audience so up for it. Like in every single part of the auditorium, people were just wigging out. It was a fantastic evening.
They've got a singles collection coming up, haven't they, or a greatest hits collection?
Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes that's a sign of lack of confidence from the record company. Isn't that true to say sometimes?
Yeah, to
it's
gauge
a way
the
of
fans.
a record company testing the water.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
How many it's just a way of measuring fans. Right?
Yeah, well, it's a weird, I guess you get to a weird stage in your career if you're a big band where maybe you're not selling as much as you used to, and yeah, the record companies say, right, it's time to poo or get off the potty. Oh, it's revolting, isn't it? And yeah, the greatest hits is a way of testing that, I suppose.
It doesn't make much sense though, because if you're a fan of the band, you wouldn't buy the greatest hits. But you have them already.
Nah, but that's what they do, isn't it? They get them to re-record a couple of new tracks, and that's what Kiss of Life is. That'll go on the greatest hits. It's all a bit nasty, that side of the record industry. It makes me slightly want to kill myself. Actually, no, I'm talking rubbish.
Should we have some Jay-Z?
Oh, do we have to?
I think we do.
You love Jay-Z, don't you?
Well, all of them except for this one.
Okay. No, I love it.
You love this one, don't you?
Yeah, it's my favourite Jay-Z song, 99 Problems. Here it is on XFM.
If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but it change one. I never thought you
cared. I gotta live my own. That's the Scissor Sisters with Laura. Coming up in the next half hour, we have celebrity regression therapy. Joe will regress me into the mind or the roles of a famous Hollywood star. You have to guess which star it is and which films I'm being regressed into. You could win tickets to go and see Dylan Moran's new comedy show.
That's a good prize.
Yeah, that's a brilliant
Is it
prize.
called Monster?
Yes, it is.
Everything's called Monster these days.
What?
Isn't it?
What else?
The film with Charlize Theron.
That's right, Monster.
Nick Broomfield's documentary about Eileen Wuornos. That might not be called Monster, but It's about the same thing.
It's about the same thing. And
Monster Munch.
Monsters Incorporated.
Monsters Incorporated. Monster from the Deep. That old film that doesn't exist.
Yeah, the phrase...
It's called Monster.
Monster. Which Nigel Kennedy used to say.
Monster.
Monster.
What's that? Did you ever want to, like, revivify? Is that a word?
Mate, wait, it is
Do you ever
now.
want to bring back, like, old buzzwords?
Sure.
Stonker, for instance.
Stonker. Like, referring to what?
Comic relief.
What?
Comic relief sort of tries to push these slightly naff comedy buzzwords into popular currency every year. And one year, like the other year, it was just pants, wasn't it? Big pants.
Oh, yeah.
And then one year it was the word stonker.
Right.
They call it comic relief, the big stonker.
Isn't stonker a word for that's stiffy?
Is it?
Isn't it? No, well, let's not dwell on it.
Nah.
What word would you bring back then if it was up to you?
Oh, I don't know, I'll have to think about that. Probably stonker. Otherwise I wouldn't have mentioned it.
So yeah, you could win tickets to go and see Monster, or indeed 13 Senses. It's up to you. If you win Ditties in the Dock, it's your... Celebrity Regression Therapy, it's your choice.
Wow. So I was watching This Morning during the week, and it's always fun to watch This Morning because of the terrible faux pas, the holes they dig themselves into.
Fern and Phil. Who's the worst for the faux pas?
Oh no, hang on, it wasn't This Morning, it was Richard and Judy.
Was it?
I've got two faux pas here, one of them's a Phil and Fern one, but let me start with the Richard and Judy one.
Okay.
It's also fun to watch that because of the faux pas. So they've got Samantha Janus on.
I prefer to call her Janus.
They've got Samantha Janus on, and they don't stick to the script. They go off on tangents. They freestyle Richard and Judy. Richard just thinks of something and he says it, sees where it'll go. So he says the previous item's been about stalkers, about how there are so many stalkers in Britain and everyone's stalking.
Not stonkers.
Not stonkers. And so he goes to Samantha Janus. Did you ever have a stalker, Samantha? And she goes, yeah, I did it a few years ago. Really? What did he do? What was it like? What happened? Oh, he followed me around in a white transit van, and the police stopped him after weeks, and he had a knife in the back and lots of photos of me, and my house was burgled, and a threatening letter was sent to the production company. So it was getting quite dark at this point.
Yeah.
Richard goes, oh, really? So what happened to him? Did they catch him? Like pause, Janice? No, he was let go. They told him it was a camping knife. Sort of atmosphere of sinister doom descends on the studio.
And
at this
is
point.
she beginning to look a little
She's
tearful?
beginning to look nervous and tearful. Richard goes, so he's still out there, is he somewhere? Janice, nervous, regretting this, she says, yes. Judy sort of goes, tries to put a jolly face on it, goes, well, hello if you're out there. And then they move on to the next item. That is transcribed verbatim from
brilliant.
Richard and Judy. So Janice may not survive the week.
Oh, don't say that. Can you imagine if she didn't? That would be dreadful.
That would be dreadful.
Oh man, well at least the guy got a name check.
Yeah,
He
well,
must have been jazzed. That would have been the best day of his life, don't you reckon?
man, if you'd given up stalking Samantha Janus, because this happened a few years ago, not that conversation happened last week, but the actual stalking happened a few years ago.
Yeah.
If you'd given up stalking Samantha Janus and then you saw that, you'd start again, wouldn't you?
Well, yes, that's like an invitation.
Interested in me.
You're talking
about me. Start up the van, get the knife and a pen and paper. Janus.
That is grim. Let's hear the next faux pas in just a second. Right now, here's Graham Coxon. Oh, it's not Graham Coxon at all. It's Ash.
Whoa, that's Ash with Orpheus. They're playing some sort of a gig at midnight on Sunday night to launch their album at some record store.
Are they?
I don't know the details, but a Central London record store, Midnight Ash, playing to launch the album. I don't know whether it's open to the public.
Ooh.
It must be, mustn't it?
Album,
I don't know.
The album's out on Monday.
We should find out more about that.
What's it called?
It's called
Meltdown.
Meltdown.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know what? We've just had an email. You can email us here at XFM, Adam and Joe at xfm.co.uk, or text us on the text number. What's the text number, Adam?
83XFM.
Brilliant. Someone's actually watching us via the webcam, which is a first.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, the webcam's not pointed at me, so I'm off.
Maybe it's Leslie Grantham.
Oh, don't say that.
Okay, so I was going to tell you the second faux pas. I've been watching Phil and Fern and Richard and Judy this week and noting down faux pas. This is actually quite an old Phil and Fern faux pas.
Can I just say before you go into the Phil and Fern one, that I love Richard and Judy as people and as presenters.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't like them to think that we were poking fun at them.
No, but it's tricky, isn't it? Because we went on their show when we did 50 Greatest Magic Tricks, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and we did and Richard performed a magic trick for us live on the telly, and his hands were trembling like a frightened child. I found that really endearing, because they've been on television forever.
Yeah.
And he was still really nervous about this magic trick. And afterwards, in the green room, they were really nice, weren't they?
Well, that's right. That's where I developed my
They
Richard
were
and Judy
really
affection.
sweet and lovely.
Yeah, yeah.
But yet, when you watch them on telly,
They come up with the occasional howler.
yeah.
But so do we, hey.
No.
Come on then.
Okay, so Fern and Phil, there's a woman on Phil and Fern, a member of the public, and she has, it's about phobias.
Mhm.
She's got a terrible spider phobia. So Fern goes,
Arachnophobia.
"Hello, Judy. Now you're absolutely terrified of spiders, aren't you? You can't even look at a picture of one without having a really serious panic attack, can you?" Woman goes, That's right. No, I can't even if I think about them, a cold sweat and a panic. It's really serious. So Fern is obviously trying to establish in the minds of the viewing audience how serious this thing is. So she goes, "Wow, so you actually couldn't look at a real spider?" The woman goes, No. And Fern, just without thinking, just goes, "So, if I was to say, for instance, there was a huge spider crawling up the back of your chair, about to climb into your hair right now, what would happen?" At which point the woman starts freaking out and having a major panic attack and a sweat. And they have to go, a sweat's not very dramatic, is it?
Well, it's enough.
Starts having a major panic attack. They have to throw to the adverts. When they come back from the adverts, Fern is apologising so profusely, and the woman's had to leave the studio.
No way.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. How did they throw to the ads? Who threw to the ads?
Phil probably threw to the ads.
Phil was just watching the whole thing unfold in horror, because he's a bit more of a pro, isn't he?
Well, yeah. Yeah, if you can call, training in the broom cupboard
Yeah, that's what I would call
professional training.
proper training. Whereas Fern, she's been in the business a long time, but she's more of an amiable bumbler.
Yeah.
And she tends to live with her foot in her mouth most of the time. We've got celebrity regression therapy coming up for you after this.
Okay, we're live in 3, 2, transition now.
XFM London.
This is Alan Joe on XFM, London's 104.9. It's time for celebrity regression. It's time for you, in your homes, in your cars, in your gardens, to relax, sit down, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and see if you can tell which film star I'm regressing Adam into the past films of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you have to guess not only which star I have become, but which films I am reliving. And if you guess correctly, you will win tickets either to see 13 Senses or to see Dylan Moran, whichever you want.
Okay, so just relax now, Adam. Take a deep breath
Okay.
and drift back. All the way back. You're not, I don't think you're in a trance, are you?
Not yet, no.
No, well just breathe.
Okay.
Clear your mind. Think of a beach. Clear your mind. Think of a beach. No, clear your mind. And drift back. Back to before you were born, back into the life of a film star. When I ask you to open your eyes, you will be in one of their films. And I want you to tell us what you can see. Open your eyes now.
Oh, I'm confused. I'm a violent man who lives by a violent, dangerous code, a man who'll do anything for money, and yet now I'm embroiled in a Chinese puzzle of relationships, risking my life to... But I guess it was bound to happen. Like the man said, $15 million is not money, it's a motive with a universal adapter on it. Pajank! That's the kind of thing people say in this movie. Things like, you know what I'm going to tell God when I see him? I'm going to tell him I was framed. Rickshaw! The problem is, who are the good guys in this film? I know all the shouting and shooting and tedious crime kingpins may seem a bit thick and boring, but actually it's complicated and nuanced.
So if you don't get it, maybe you should just get out of my regression before I shoot you. Or say something like, we're not talking about how long you're gonna live, we're talking about how slow you're gonna die. Whop it! Yeah! Shooting, shouting, and shooting.
Just breathe. Stay calm, Adam. Stay calm. Stay calm and breathe.